Yeah, actually, I was going to ask you when I was at work today. It kind of something like I don't know really if it's got that much to do with non-duality or not, but
We
I
shall
don't know.
see.
I'm hoping you're alright to talk about it.
Okay, we can try.
Yeah. Well, for starters, I started to read your book again and stuff, so I know like, and I only just at the beginning, and so it's probably I don't know. I don't know, but obviously something that my sort of work, working with like people with learning difficulties and mental health problems, you obviously know something about it from your book as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just kind of today made me think a bit like the whole system that I'm working in and stuff. I really started to question it a bit. Like there's this one particular patient we've got, and like this morning he ended up getting like into some trouble. He set the fire alarm off, and people were seeing him as coming across as really aggressive and stuff. But like just before I finished today, I managed to have a chat with him, and he kind of was saying to me that he needed like physical contact, and he hasn't got any physical contact. The only thing we're allowed to really do at this hospital with the patients is give them a fist bump, which isn't even quite a handshake sort of thing. And it made me think, oh yeah, and he was basically just this guy asking me for a hug. And it's the kind of thing which obviously, when you're human, you feel one way about it, but I'm not actually supposed to do that. It's kind of crossing a boundary sort of
Yeah.
thing. But in the end, one of the nurses made a joke of saying like, "Oh, you can give him a hug," and I did give the guy a hug, and other people were saying, "No, he'll strangle you. He'll do this." And in the end, he said that it really was like something nice for him, and he felt a lot better. And I thought,
Yeah.
how can we keep people in a situation like that where we don't even let them have? They can't even touch each other, the patients. We have to try and stop that as support workers.
Yeah. It's a really complicated situation. It's so hard, and there's so many different things. And like with the UK, there is a lot of problems in the mental health system. But when I travel abroad in places in Asia and things, I think that it's way better than there. But yeah, it's really sad, these sorts of things. But it's a product of our society. When we live in a separate society, that's part of the product of it, is a non-acceptance of anyone that doesn't conform to what our society needs. And basically what our society wants and needs is people that can work, and people that can maintain the workforce, that believe in society and that get enough pleasure from working and maintain that dynamic of working. We think of our society as like a reality, and we think that the way that we live is the way that humans should live, but it's actually a state of mind. Our society is a reflection of separation, like the way the advertising works, that everything's based around money. It's not, we don't have a society that's based around community or based around supporting each other. We have a society that's based around advertising, working and gaining and believing that that is happiness. Whereas I think that it actually really oppresses people, this whole mentality of constantly working, and that's the most important thing. You are your job, you are your possessions, you are how other people see you in that framework of success. And by that mentality, I think it creates a society of depressed people, but everybody's too scared to step outside of it because that's what you're conditioned to know, is that particular society. So nobody really questions it, and they think that if they're unhappy, it's their own fault and they've done something wrong. And that's why we've had such an increase of people on medication the last 50 years. Like they say in America, the number not America, in Australia, I'm not sure about the rest of the world, the number one medication isn't the pill, which you'd expect it to be the pill, but it's antidepressants. Like it's a
Yeah.
huge thing. And the reason that people are so unhappy is because our society is based on a workforce. It's telling us from the age of 4 or 5, we're being asked by adults, what do you want to be when you're older? And basically what they mean by that is, what job do you want to be? And that's who you are. You are your job. So you're a fireman, you're a doctor, you're a street cleaner, you're a a shopkeeper. I can't think of all these different jobs, but that is who you are. So we base our society around that, and we believe that our happiness is based in time and by working for it. So we're educated in school that it's all about working for the future. We have to work to pass our exams, to get a good job, to get a good house, to get a good wife or husband, to have kids, to then grow old, and then finally when we're 60 we get to retire, or it's now 70 or 65, 70, and then retire and not work. But our whole life is about working and obtaining things and getting things, and the reason and what we see as success in our society is by having lots of things and having the most sophisticated posh things. We're never taught that happiness is about enjoying the process and it's about enjoying what's actually happening. We're always taught that happiness is the next thing of achievement, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, which is a really sad way to be. And then what happens is that people in our society, not all people can do that. And so the ones that cannot do that, cannot fit into that system, are considered mentally ill and having something wrong with them. And then we medicate those people. We don't see it as a creative expression. We don't see it as, actually, maybe there's something wrong with the way we're conditioning people. We see it as there is something wrong with them. We put all the emphasis on that it's their problem, they're ill, they're bad in a way. We put them into hospitals and we try to fix them to make them a producer to fit into our society. And it is really sad. Like in Native American tribes and in a lot of Amazon tribes, and in the past in Europe, people with what we would call now mental health problems were actually the healers, and were actually the people that predicted what would happen in the past and future, even what we would in our society called witches, which we tried to kill. And that's what we... But because we tried to, we used to also have 3 genders in Europe. We also used to have a 3rd gender, and our 3rd gender was somebody that was born into a physical male body but felt like a female, or a female, somebody that was born into a physical female body but felt like a man. So we also had this 3rd gender as well, which we wiped out, which meant that when you were born, if you identified with the female role, then that was totally okay to be that. Like, there wasn't an issue with it because we had these 3 genders, and in the 3 genders also came sexuality as well. So if you didn't identify with the sexuality, I don't know exactly how it worked, but I remember studying it at university. So we used to have 3rd genders. So we had 3 genders in European society, which we eventually wiped out. The only society which I don't believe it's wiped out of, and which the rest of the world make fun of, is in Thailand, and that's because Thailand wasn't colonized. So they have like what we call ladyboys, and they have a 3rd gender, but it's really mocked now and taken the mickey out of. And we also used to have these healers, which we then wiped out, calling witches. But those would have been people with something like what we'd call now schizophrenia, because the reason why we saw them as healer, because they didn't buy into everybody else's reality. So they questioned all borders, and people saw that as a really beneficial thing. And by questioning all borders, their sense of time and space was different. And they most probably had profound awakenings. Like, I used to think with my brother that he had profound awakenings. But in our society, it's completely disregarded and they're taught as bad. And so most people with mental health, what we call mental health issues, have a really low self-esteem because they've been told for so many years that they're ill. Imagine a society, I mean, what sort of society does that to part of the society, tells them they are ill? Like, they're ill, they've got broken brains. It's not encouraged and supported. It's said bad and ill. It's such an amazing thing if you spend time with someone that's breaking down what constructive reality. It is also scary because what we tend to do as humans is we look at safety by somebody buying into our reality and by being able to communicate by reality. So somebody that's not buying into our reality scares us because we're not used to it. But it's amazing. So.
Oh, yeah, so are you saying that back in sometime in the past, that was all those things like the healers and the third gender was common, and now it's not.
Yeah, and now we label people with these illnesses rather than trying to explore it with them, and
Well, that's yeah.
and rather
That's
because the reason that people with what we call mental health problems get so messed up is because they're always being told they're bad and wrong, and it's never seen as a creative expression which will help and improve our society. Like lots of people that are like geniuses, or they're really great at something, like great at music, they often are also diagnosed with mental health problems, but the reason, like someone like Van Gogh, but actually if you think about it, they don't really have mental health problems. It's just that their role is to break all barriers, and in breaking all barriers, their sense of reality is going to be different from everybody else's reality, but it's not encouraged. We see it as a bad thing, and then somebody with mental health problems identify with that being a bad thing, and then everybody's scared of them. Like, we're so scared of people with mental health problems because we think that they're going to do something like what happened in Nice. They say that he had mental health problems, or they're going to go around stabbing people. But actually, if you could compare the statistics, my mum used to work on, she was a governor on the mental health board in England. If you compare the statistics, people with mental health problems don't statistically kill more than people that are considered not having mental health problems. It's not that because they've got schizophrenia or something, they're more likely to kill or hurt you. They don't kill or hurt more than regular population. This is what my mum told me. I don't know that. This is from my mum's mouth, but she went on lots of training courses. It's just that it's got such a bad stigma. We have an idea that anyone that has issues will harm us, or has a different perspective on reality. But it's become like sensationalized in film and our media. But if you actually look at it, like gangs and things that are happening in London, and poverty creates more murders and killing.
Yeah.
But it does happen with people with mental health issues, that they do also do that. But it does. If you look at it in perspective, it's not. It's not like all people with mental health problems do that sort of thing, if not put on medication or something. But that's the excuse for it in our society. They will harm us.
Yeah, it makes it quite hard to. Well, probably, I don't know. I'm finding it hard to go into work in it at the moment, you know.
Yeah. But it's amazing as well. What it will do for you is to see all these different realities, because reality isn't fixed. It's dependent on the way that it's interpreted. So Khaleesi sees a completely different reality from the Lisa body. So consciousness looks through all these different bodies and have completely different experiences. And with somebody with what we call mental health issues, they're seeing such a different world. Like such a different world. It's sad though.
That's why I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, but it's sad also because a lot of the time people with mental health problems end up being very depressed and very negative and very disturbed. I think that's also a product of our society and the way we view it as well. And like so much negativity in our society towards it.
Yeah, but even despite that, there's still a lot of freedom in a lot of the people I work with. That's what, like, I like spending time normally with the patients or the tenants, whatever you want to call these people. Yeah. But it's the problems coming from the managers and the staff and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want some, you know what I mean.
Yeah, they're just dictated to by the ones higher than them, and then it keeps on going up because there's also so many, because of the way society's structured, there's so many lawsuits and like
Yes, red tape.
Sorry?
Like red tape, is that what they call it?
Yeah,
you know, there's so much PC issues and paperwork and risk assessments.
Yeah.
But at the same, I don't know really. It's interesting. That's still crazy to me what you were saying about how society used to be different and everything. It must be like. Is there a reason that we're now less tolerant and we got rid of all that sort of stuff? Is it because our sense of self got stronger?
Yeah, and the sense of self needs structure and order. It can't take anything that doesn't make sense intellectually. So like healers, like the witches we killed because that didn't fit in with our belief system. It was too much outside the box.
It was like that now.
Sorry?
I think that'd be interesting. It'd be nice if things were like that now.
Yeah, but we used to in European society, we used to have like what they have in Chinese, like Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine. We had our whole own like alternative medicine system, but we wiped it all out. That's what the witches were. Yeah.
I never knew any of this. They don't teach you this at school, do they?
Well, they taught me at university. When I went to actually university in America, I could pick anything off the curriculum. So I was studying playwriting, but when I went in America, they said they can pick anything. So I picked this feminist course, and this is where I learned all this stuff. We studied like third genders, and we studied witches, and it was a really cool course. The lady was really amazing, young, like 25-year-old lady, and I just had no idea about this sort of thing. Before that, I wasn't into feminism. I just did it because I was trying to do the most different subjects that I could possibly do. So I did like volleyball, feminism, bike riding, puppet making. I tried to pick the most weirdest things because it was like an opportunity. Like the government was paying for me to go and study in America, and I could study anything. So I was like, okay, I will study anything.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was really amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do so good with I went to university and started to do a course in architecture, but after the first year I'd given up.
Oh yeah? My dad always wanted to be an architect. I can imagine it's really creative, but I can imagine studying for it is a real pain. I think it's like a really long course.
Well, I mean, I chose it for all the wrong reasons. I knew the city I wanted to go to for the music scene and everything was Brighton, and then I looked on their website for all the courses and found architecture and looked into it and thought, yeah, I'll try that. Probably not the best. Choose a career, you know?
But were you good at drawing then? Were you good at that? Maths?
No. Maths, yeah. And a lot of the drawing was technical drawing with rulers and stuff. I was never that good at creative freehand drawing, but I could blag the kind of technical drawing, okay.
And if you were good at maths, I suppose that's what it is. My dad's really good at maths and science.
Yeah, I've always been quite gifted with maths, but yeah, I don't know. I think most people can do most things if they put their mind to it, can't they?
Yeah. My dad ended up being a computer programmer, so he built virtual worlds rather than like real worlds. Like rather than houses, he built programs. So it's a similar type of thing. Yeah, but he fell into that. He also quit university as well. I think he did architecture or science, I think it was. His parents made him do science. He wanted to do architecture, and mechanics was another thing he wanted to do. And both of those things weren't appropriate to my grandparents, so they dictated what he had to do. And then after a year, he quit. But he ended up getting a job in computers and then became a programmer.
Yeah, that's interesting. I kind of wish I'd carried on with it sometimes, because once I started the course, I actually was enjoying it. And the career as a career, it's not bad. I think being an architect, it's good money as well.
And you can't go back.
I guess I could, or I could do something else at uni. But the thing is, at the moment, I'm I'd have to work and study at the same time, so I need to find something that's not really full time.
Yeah.
I mean, or try and get loans and stuff. Also, to keep at the minute, I support my son financially, and it costs money to have him and to go and pick him up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it would be harder to study full time, and not that would be harder. So something like nursing, I could keep working on shifts and nights and stuff, and do that. But actually, this is the last year in England. They're paying for the NHS. They're paying for you to do nursing. So if I'm going to do it, I'd probably better do it. Well, it's probably too late, but I just have to get a student loan out again.
Yeah. My friend did that actually. She did a degree in philosophy, and then she realised afterwards that she could never really make money from a degree in philosophy or get a career. So the government paid, and she worked to become a mental health nurse. But she worked while doing it, I think.
Yeah, it's really good. I should have got into it by now. I've kind of missed that as well. But something will come up, I don't know.
It will come up. at the right moment.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
Thanks a lot, Lisa. That was
Oh, it's
nice talking
pleasure.
to you.
Yeah, nice talking with you, Sam. It's always nice to speak to you. Thank you.
You too. All right,
Bye.
bye.